Now it's time for the What's Poppin' section, but we got a sponsor, right? This segment is sponsored by Deeper Than the Brand, the #1 content branding community that shows you how to confidently and authentically build a brand, grow a social media presence, and build digital wealth. Go to deeperthanthebrand.com for more information. Let's get an air horn to that. So let's talk about the future of content creation for brands. Okay. Now, as content creators, as people who are growing a brand on social media, we're having these times where we're like, yo, I need new, fresh ideas. I need to get some of these tasks away, like creating captions, titles, descriptions, that whole nine, things that are a bit tedious, but is needed to grow a social media presence. Now, we've been hearing over and over about the power of AI. I don't know if you've been listening to CNN. It's all on Twitter. It's all on every social media platform, blogs. This thing called ChatGPT, right? What in the world is Chat? I can't even say it. ChatGPT, right? Now, keeping it very simple, it is a AI powered writing assistant for you. Let's keep it very simple. But what's everybody's talking about is that literally it had 1 million users in 1 week, which is pretty much unheard of. No social media platform has ever done that, right? And I'm not saying ChatGPT is a social media platform, but no platform that has been created has gotten 1 million users in 1 week. So we got to talk about what it can do. What are some of the prompts? How can we use it for ourselves? That whole nine. So think about it like this. When we have Google, we type in a keyword, we type in a phrase, and it gives us all these different links. And we still have to go through it. Like, okay, let me go through this source. Let me go through Forbes on this. Oh, this popped up. And normally we stay on the first page and that's it. It's more of like Google is like, you still have to do it. But with ChatGPT, it does it for you, which is crazy. So from a content creation standpoint, here's some of the things that it could do. It could generate catchy titles for you. It could translate words to a whole new language, product descriptions. It could give you a whole write-ups for blogs and newsletters. The potential and the amount of things that this thing could do is truly unlimited, right? And it gathers all this information from everything that's happened on the internet. But when we go into ChatGPT, I can't even say it 5 times fast. It's the hardest thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But when you go into this AI writing assistant, it's going to be super simple. But what I'm going to challenge you when you go into it is how can we be a bit specific, right? It literally, you chat to it. You could literally say, hey, how are you? I need this. I need a caption for social media. Cool. And it's going to give you a caption. But the more descriptive you are, more detailed you are, the better, right? So for example, if we're talking about what are some good prompts that we can use from a content creation standpoint and to help us with our social media presence, let's talk about it, right? So if we were trying to create a YouTube title, right? We're on YouTube, or if a podcast title because you're listening to the audio of this, right? I'll be like, act as a podcaster and give me 5 catchy YouTube titles and I will explain what the podcast is about, right? If I had a certain kind of product, let's say I had water, right? Shout out to water, right? Give me a product description about mineral added for taste type of vibes with water, right? Boom. They could type out that description. Say, I need a welcome email to other content creators who are struggling with figuring out new ideas. Boom. So pretty much you want to give them, if you can, act as a podcaster, act as, um, let's say, a business that sells water, act as a lawyer, act as whatever, and help me come up with what, right? Whatever you want it to do. The more descriptive you are, the better. The cool thing from from a content creation standpoint, for those people who create videos, you literally can get your videos transcribed, copy it, and say, hey, give me a summary or give me a podcast showcase notes. I can't even talk. Look at this. This is horrible. For, format podcast show notes. That was difficult with this transcription. And it is going to come up with everything you may need. Now, here is the disclaimer. It is not perfect. It is not meant to do a copy and paste. This is only supposed to give you a foundation, and you still have to add your own sauce. So because people are going to be thinking, oh, this is going to replace video editors, copywriters, that whole nine. And that's not necessarily true, right? You still need to add that human flair, your words, your slang, your personality, your tone to it. Now, you can get as descriptive and saying, hey, give me this particular tone, a funny tone, a persuasive tone, a direct tone. You can get into that, but it still needs your swag to it. So when we are looking at AI in general, and I'm just giving one tool, when we're looking at AI, we have to look at it as this is going to be my foundation, but I'm going to be able to build off of it. I'm going to be able, what normally would take me an hour to do, can now take me less than a minute, right? Now I can be able to come up with different responses for people. I can come up with a consistent content schedule because I'm saying, can you give me content ideas about my new merch line? Can you give me 5 content posts about water? And it'll give you that. But at the end of the day, it still needs your expertise. So if you want to look into ChatGPT, say that 5 times. I've been struggling with it. It's ChatGPT, right? You could go, just Google it, literally. Google it or go to chat.openai.com. It's a free login. You do not have to pay for anything, but I do believe in the future, you're going to have to pay. This is ChatGPT 3. They're already working on 4. So take advantage of what you have now from a content creation and growing the brand standpoint. Take advantage of it now. Use it, because in the future, it's only going to get better, but there's going to be a price tag to it. You know what I mean?
Powerful.
What you got, Moose?
Powerful. Yeah, man. The speed of which that thing is able to function at and all that incredible stuff, it's just bananas. So, man, flipping side, going into the what's popping in the business world, it's kind of a mixed with sports and stay woke a little bit. We've been keeping it woke on our show here the last month or so. But man, if you did not know, a terrible act happened in the NFL on January 2nd, where Bills defensive back suffered a cardiac injury on the field. And so he was rushed to the hospital, game was canceled, a very scary moment. And so what happened recently was that he and his team filed for a trademark application with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, right? They wanted to file 2 patents, one for did we win, which the little context behind that, once he got to the hospital and gained consciousness, the first thing he said was, did we win, right? So that obviously broke headlines and captured a lot of attention because those were the first words out of his mouth. And the second was 3 years back, right? Which is what he tweeted out after he kind of woke up and started recovering and on his way back. So 2 very powerful sayings. Now, during this time, especially at the time that he was unconscious for, and no one really knew his status, his charity, Chasing M's, was getting a ton of donations. I mean, there was just millions of dollars pouring into his foundation at the time, right? So here's what they later discover. Immediately, the thought, and at least the thought process behind the trademarks themselves, was we want to patent these sayings so that we can offer clothing, motivational speaking services, and athletic training services, posters, pens, pins, and mugs, right? They wanted to protect the business around him because right now in the foreseeable future, who knows what will happen to his career. So great idea from a team standpoint. What they go on to later discover, and this could be one of the reasons why the move was made originally, is that on January 5th, which is just a couple of days after the incident happened, there was an LLC out of Coney Island that also filed an application to trademark the same saying, "Did we win?" So they filed that trademark a day before DeMar and his crew or his team were able to file that trademark. So it gets a little messy in this situation, but overall, the moral of the story here is, as always, have a good team around you, right? To be able to have people who have your back by your side, that as you're going through a life-altering situation, they're thinking not only about your personal well-being right now, but they're thinking about your financial future. Tremendous, right? The second thing is, don't overlook the legal side of things, the trademark and all of that. I mean, had he not been paying attention to something like that, somebody else could have swept in, trademarked his saying, and made a fortune off of something that he can really benefit from. So just one of those things to be really mindful of, man, as we go into the new year. I know that's the boring stuff that no one really wants to talk about or think about or learn or focus on, but it's very important when you're talking about securing a financial future, especially for someone in this case who suffered something, so crazy and out of the blue. So yeah, check with, make sure your team is good and check with your attorneys, people.
Facts. And that is the What's Poppin' section. Let us know what you think about it. Everything from what his team did, things about ChatGPT, that whole nine. Let us know.